Hello my friends, John LaRuffa here with another Straight Up Solo, and in this episode we're going to take a look at Age of Innovation, which is a Terra Mystica game. So I'm going to show you what it looks like when you play with a solo opponent, the Automa, and I'm going to kind of take you through a description of this game, kind of give you a background as much as I can. It's got a lot going on, there's a lot of stuff here, but my whole goal is to help you see, is this a game that you want to explore? Is this something you want to look into? Or is this something that you want to pass? Not for you. So let's get to it. And as usual, folks, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. And if you have, I do really appreciate the support. Thank you so much. So what do we have going on here? Well, this is the game as it's set up for a two-player solo experience. So you and the Automa that you're playing against. Now I'm playing against the medium difficulty level. There's actually 5 difficulties. So I guess difficulty level 2. And the faction that I randomly drew was the Simpletons. And so hopefully that will be relatively simple to handle. I'm not saying to beat, but at least to deal with as far as the whole overall experience. Now, what you've got going on in this game, if you have played Terra Mystica, or if you have played, well, especially Terra Mystica for sure, but also in a way if you have played the other game that the Gaia project, and if you've played that, there's some definite elements in here with the way the solo game is set up, and that for sure seems to have like kind of crossed over here. Now, I've never played Terra Mystica with the Automa that was built for it. I love Terra Mystica, but I actually sold the game because I bought the app because I started playing mostly solo games, and then there was nobody to play with for the most part. And then when the Gaia project came out, I got that, played the solo out of that a lot, really like it. So this was kind of an interesting juncture of, okay, now we've got this reimagining of Terra Mystica here, and what's different, but now there is a solo mode built in. So, okay, fantastic, let's take a look. And that's what ultimately, tipped me into getting the game, okay? Now, what's going on in this game? This game has, it is a heavy Euro game. And what I mean by that is, well, number one, the theme is pasted on, right? I mean, yeah, you can terraform this and that, but this game is about, it's about scoring points and cracking the puzzle of what's going on, right? And the way that you do that is you're going to take different actions, and as you take actions, you are going to be revealing spots on your board which will increase or change your income. You will be getting board presence out here while you build, and in order to build, you have to turn the terrain you're building on into your favorite terrain, in this case, wasteland for what I drew. And you do that by paying tools and by generating spades and basically by turning these things in. And the further away the land type is away from a wasteland, the more expensive it is. And once you do that, you then can build your workshop, which is the base building in this game, and then you can upgrade that to a lot of different things. So the buildings are very similar to the whole Terra Mystica feel. If you play Terra Mystica, you'll be right at home in this game because you have the same types of things, except there's schools and there's I can't remember what these are. They're not trading posts, but they're similar to it. And then you still have this guild hall right here, and you still have this this monument. It's not a monument. The names are escaping me, pardon me, but it's all the same feel. And the way that you take the turns, the actions that are available to you are almost identical to what is there in Terra Mystica, with the couple of exceptions, and I'll talk to you about what those are. So if you play Terra Mystica, you really know how to play this game with some minor exceptions. So so basically the general actions you can do if you haven't played Terra Mystica, you will be terraforming, you'll be building on the board with these workshops, you'll be upgrading for the costs of different tools and money to establish even bigger power value, basically groupings of buildings. You get to a certain amount of those. In this case, it's 4 structures and 7 power, just like Terra Mystica. You can choose one of these rewards, and those rewards will score you points and give you something else as a benefit, and will turn that grouping of buildings into a town. And there's ways to do that more efficiently and things of that nature. You're also going to be trying to build near your competition and have them build near you. When you build near them with these trading posts or the secondary level building, whatever they call it, it's cheaper in that regard. It's not 6 coins and 2 tools, it's 3 coins and 2 tools. So you want to be building next to or adjacent to other buildings, which is why at the beginning of this game, I chose this spot right adjacent to my opponent here, because I can more easily turn that into that. Now, when you build next to them, they get to generate power. And the power is this bowl mechanism right here, which will allow you to slowly but surely charge up your power tokens to a level 3 here by getting power income. And then you can spend, excuse me, that power income on a variety of different things, either getting spades for terraforming or money or more tools, or being able to place a scholar or build a bridge. And when you spend those, you basically lock that action down and it's done for the round, and it'll open back up after the round is over. The other thing you can do is you can increase your sail or your sailing range, which will help you to incorporate at the very end all of your buildings into one. And the person who has the most of those will get 18 points, and then it goes down from there, 18, 12, and 6. Furthermore, you can upgrade your ability to terraform by spending 5 coins and a scholar and a tool. And when you do that, you will be able to terraform for cheaper tools. So normally it's 3 per step, but if you go to 2 or 1. So that's all very similar. Everything I just talked about is all present in Terra Mystica. The other thing that's present in Terra Mystica is these 4 different tracks. So instead of the elemental tracks before, you've got, trade and medicine and industry and banking. And you do the same way, where you're going to be taking as an action a scholar over here, and that will push you up in the track. And as you go up in the track, you're going to cross over different power icons, which will generate you power. In order to get over level 8, you have to have found one of those towns I was talking to you about and have a key, which is basically the reverse side. It's whenever you get one of these things, they all come with a key like you see here. Okay, and that allows you to cross over. New is that when you get up to this level, you'll start generating income from this, and when you go all the way up to the top, you just basically that's a maximum amount. And at the very end of the game, the person who's in the lead of each of these tracks will get 8 points, and the second person would be 4, and the third would be 2. So it's a big way to score points also. So all that again, and the passing mechanism and the other things that you get, these little bonuses when you put it back and things like that, it's all Terra Mystica based. Now, what is different than Terra Mystica and brings in some elements of the Gaia project are these things right here. Now, Terra Mystica had similar things where you could, when you basically build a school, you'd be able to take one of these bonus tiles, and you get this here, but you get more variety. I take that back. I don't know if you get more variety, but in this case, they aren't scaled as such, because they also have these books, and you can use these books to buy these innovation buildings over here. And these innovation buildings, that's one thing that's majorly different. There's a ton of these. So I think there's 18 different ones, if I'm remembering correctly, and you're only going to see a certain amount per game, and they all do something very different. So, for instance, this one says, if I build the school here, I would get 5 points to do that one time. Now, I don't know if that's the immediate bonus. It could be. That means I might be able to get, I have to look it up, but for every one of these I built, I would get 5 points or something of that nature. So there are ongoing benefits, there's one-time benefits, there's passing benefits. So when I pass, I get 2 points for every one of those trade guild things that they have there. And so these are much different. There's a lot more going on. So one of the main things that's different about this in Terra Mystica is you get all of these, and there's a ton of those, okay? And in order to get those, you have to spend different books. And these different books you have to get through a variety of different things. They come in from bonuses here on the bonus or the passing track. In this case, this is income. But you can get it in many other ways too. You can also use those books to spend for these actions. And so to me, the book is similar to those green cubes from the Gaia project. And those, I can't remember what they were. There was some special name for them. But basically, they were some kind of bonus token. And that's kind of the way the books feel like this in this game, is that you can spend those to get some of these really powerful buildings. The other thing that's different is that unlike the Terra Mystica situation here, when you unlock your main big building, you will replace this tile with some special benefit up here, and that will give you a permanent thing. And there are a ton of those also in the game. I think there are 17 or 18 of different of those. There's lots of those in this game, and so they vary up tremendously on the combinations you can have. And then I would say the way that the AI scores the goals. So one major way to score points in this game is that at the end of every round, you will score something, or you'll get some benefit for, actually you won't be, most of the time you're not gonna be scoring, you'll get some benefit from being a certain amount of points up on these tracks, but also certain actions will be incentivized. So at the very beginning in this game, this one was randomly drawn. Every time I build one of these, I would get 3 points. Every time I move up on one of the power tracks, or the knowledge tracks, pardon me, I would go ahead and get 1 point, okay? And so they vary from round to round. And in the last round, there are 2 different ways to get things, because you're not going to get a last round bonus. You're going to do, you have special ways to do that. And in the solo mode, there's specific ways that you do things for the solo side of things, where they don't mix for the multiplayer. They've got different actions on there that make sense for the solo bot to take place. The other thing that this game has, it has 2 sides of this board. This side I'm playing on is the 1 to 3 player, so that the game is tighter. And that might be good for some people. I think it's good because one of the things that was always kind of both with the Gaia project scale, at least, it had some, you could scale it for more players. So I guess I shouldn't talk about that. But certainly Terra Mystica, one kind of board, so it would be a little bit loosey-goosey if you didn't play on top of one of theirs, so to speak. If you played on the normal side of the map, which is the other side, so it could be a little bit bigger. So those are the big differences. The final thing is that in the way that you pair up your different tiles, you're going to choose one of these main boards depending on your favored terrain. And then there is a bunch of these different basically, races or factions or whatever. And so these combinations come together differently, and the board you choose will give you some benefit. For instance, this one, I was able to get 1 extra book to begin, 1 extra tool, and then my second innovation tile, when I buy one, does not cost me additional books to do that, so I get a little bonus there. And then this person gave me a head start on the banking and the medicine track, an extra tool, and an action where I can cover this up, generate 5 power, or 5 moves in the power, and then take an action right away. So that's kind of powerful too. All right, so that is a huge explanation of all the things that I can see that are similar and different from Terra Mystica and the Gaia project. And so what I'll say, and I'll say it again at my end of the review, is if you have both of those games, you have to decide, you have a tough choice to make. Does the addition of these things over here, these different tiles, these various scoring things, and the solo mode and the solo mode also has a lot of different races to play. I believe there's 12 or 14. I think there's 12. And you can play, so there's lots of different combinations there to play. So does all of those combinations and all that variety merit you getting another game? That's the question that you have to ask yourself, okay? So, all right, so how does this game play? Well, you start as the first person, and on your turn, you take 1 action, but the first thing you do is you get all your income. So you start the game by getting this, but you always go through your income phase, which will begin with anything that has the hand. So in this case, I would get a book of my choice, and I've decided to start kind of focusing on blue. really because I want to get this. The sooner I get this, the more points I can generate to pass. That's just what I started to think about. And then I will get 3 of these tools, and that is my starting income. I don't have anything else that generates me income. The solo opponent does not get any of that stuff, so they don't do anything in that matter. They are completely driven by this deck of cards right here. And the way this will work is, I will show you. So we're going to take these away. These are just helpful understandings of how to execute their different actions. What they do on their turn, well, actually, I have to take the first turn. I go first in this game. And so the first thing you usually want to do is decide where am I going to start building my workshops, right? And usually the cheapest places to do it are those that are similar terrains for you. And all things considered with this board placement, I probably want to snag this before anything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 3 cubes, 3 tools to generate that spade. And then I'm going to terraform this to mine. And then I'm going to pay 1 more tool and $2 to build my first workshop. And when you do that, you reveal over here more income. Now, with him, he doesn't generate power or anything of that nature. So I didn't see anything at all in the AI rules that he generates power or does anything with power. And I might be wrong on this, but I don't see anything there. So building next to him, normally if you build next to an opponent, he would be able to do 1 power move. And the way you calculate power is the total number of power that is shown. These workshops are worth 1, these are worth 2, these are worth 3. So you'd look at whatever is adjacent to what was built. And then you would sum that up and you take that X and -1, that's how many points you have to spend to get the power movement. But again, there's nothing I can see that shows that the AI does that. So my turn's over. Now we flip over 2 cards to begin the game, okay? So we flip these 2 over, and these cards are put together in a pair. And what you're doing is you are focusing specifically on the center, okay? This is going to tell me what action I'm going to take. Pardon me. This is going to tell me what action I'm going to take, and this is going to tell me how I'm going to choose it. In this case, and the other stuff does other things depending on what you're doing, passing, a few other different things. So here it's saying you're going to take some power actions. You're going to get 2 of them, and the first thing you're going to do is put something where you're going to use this skip 3 breaker to figure out where you're going to block those off. And so they divide it up like 3 and 6 because you've got 2, 4, 6 over here that have to do with the power actions. You got 3 over here. Okay, so you're going to look at one of these and one of those. All right, and you're going to start over here with starting from this way and counting the open spaces that have been taken. So 1, 2, 3. It is going to block this space for me, and then it's going to go over here to this open space. Well, I would do that first, but 1, 2, 3, it's going to block this one. Okay, so these actions are no longer available for me, and then it's going to score X points. And the points are determined by my difficulty level. In this case, I'm playing on that 2 difficulty level, so X is going to equal 1, so it's going to get a point. Okay, and as you go forward in the round, that's going to get more and more. And that's it. So then what'll happen is, when it's his next turn, you're going to stack this card over here. You're going to flip another one. It's going to execute another turn. So we'll go to my turn here. And let's say I want to upgrade. And I want to upgrade because it scores me points this round to do so. So I am next to this green workshop right here, my opponent. So I can upgrade for cheaper. So I'm going to spend the 2 tools. And I'm going to spend the 3 coins. And that's going to allow me to upgrade this or the other one. Put it back and get one of these out here. Now, that's good because the income here gives me some money and some power, but also I get to get 3 points. 1, 2, 3. And in order to be competitive, you got to think about your strategy based on what you're getting points for the round. And so that's why I wanted to do that. So we come back to him. So we're going to stack this over here. We're going to flip this. All right. Now he's going to do an upgrade action, and his priority is going to be to use the on the bottom and look for his first one and choose the first one he finds. So that means he's going to upgrade this. Okay, so in order to do that, He goes ahead, he makes the upgrade, he scores X points, X equals 1. All right, pretty simple, right? That's not so bad. So then it's going to come back to me, and I'm going to keep doing this until ultimately I run out of stuff and I have to pass. All right, but I'll show you this next action just quickly. I've got a special action here because of my bonus tile. I'm going to go ahead and take that special action. I'm going to cover that bridge up, and then I'm going to build a bridge right here. And the reason I'm doing that is I want access across here to start to get to this terrain, which is already good, and this one, which isn't so bad. So I like that. And building a bridge here wouldn't really do me any good because he's already built there. And yeah, I would make it adjacent to me so I could upgrade a little bit easier, but that'd be a little bit short-sighted, I think. So I built the bridge, that's my turn. We go ahead to him now, or her, I guess it's a female Autumn. I don't know how that really works, but they refer to it as a her in the rule book. Okay, and then it's saying place one of his scholars on the best, in this case the 3, and I'm going to use the, first I'm going to use the one that's 2 over, and then if there was some kind of tie, I would use this specific situation here, which would be based on the bonus that's being more rewarded, I guess, at this time. I think that's what that means. But basically, it's going to be 2, okay? So 1, 2, I'm going to place it over here because it was starting to the left, and he'll move up 3 spots, 1, 2, 3. All right. And they do a good job in the rule book kind of specifying all these things. I could look that up if there was any kind of questions there. And I don't know. Yeah, so that's just showing based on the round scoring tile. Discipline matching the Automa icon on the current round. If not valid, use the catch-up tiebreaker. So in this case, though, he said first, you want to do the one that's 2 to the right. So you wouldn't do this medicine one, you do the 2 to the right. Okay, and then back to me. Let's see, I could do this. So I could start generating some power, which is good. However, I may want to reduce the total number of power I have in my situation here. And you could do that by basically doing a conversion action when you're going to take a power move or when you're going to do some kind of power conversion at any time. So what I could do is I can spend and eliminate power cubes or power discs 1, 2, 3, if I wanted to, like that, and push these into here in order to take this action right there, which I will do because I want to get a scholar. So these are out of the game. And it's good to have a reduced number of these because that means that you don't have to spend as much to get around. But if you go too far into the hole, then you're not going to be able to afford any of these things. But I did that in order to get a scholar, and that's my turn. I've generated a scholar. I'm going to use that soon. Now, when we come to these cards that are flipped over like this, if it has the symbol up here, which it did not, but if it had this symbol, I'm sorry, over on the side, it would decide to pass right away. But it did not. Instead, it looks like it's going to decide to take an innovation tile. And when you do that, you are going to, so the game is in rounds 3 to 6, and Automa has 0 to 2 innovations. Well, it's not in 3 to 6, so it's not going to do that. See how it's highlighted up there? We're still in round 1, so instead it's going to do this action, and that action is where you will advance 1 level. And it's going to do that by skipping 3 over here. So 1, 2, 3, it's just going to advance that by 1, and that's all it's going to do. And I don't think it says, yeah, that's all it does. It just advances by 1. You don't place the scholar. Okay. So then back to me, why do I get the scholar? Well, I don't want to lose out on this action. I want to gain that. And also, I'd like to get a free terraforming at the end of this round if I can. So if I go here, I put my scholar here, I can go 1, 2, 3, which gives me the 4 I need. And then I can move this power, but I have to move from the bottom first. You can't move over top unless you're doing that special thing. So I got to move this to there. Because you always have to generate from the bottom to get up to here first, unless you're doing that special action where you're going to discard 1 and generate others. So I did that. And then it's back to him, or her, whatever. And then they're going to do the specific faction action. So in this case, it's going to expand. And it's going to expand based on apparently no priority whatsoever. So wait a minute. Is that no priority or are those yellows? I don't specifically understand how that's going to work. So I think the yellows have to do with any of them or all of them. So basically what it'll do is it's going to expand next to the marked city, or the non-marked city, which means over here. Then it's going to look on the terrain side, A, and go to the first terrain, which is this one right here, which it can do. And then it'll basically go ahead and terraform and expand that way. So it is going to take a tile and terraform here and expand here. Now, because it expanded next to me, I get 1 power. Remember, it's x minus 1. I have a 1 value there, so I'm going to move this up like this. And it's very convenient. You don't have to pay the costs for anything that it does, so that's much easier to deal with. Very simple to handle that. And then it's going to get x points. X equals 1 because we're in the first round, and it catches up with me. Okay, now what do I have left? Well, I like to maximize what I'm doing, so let's first do the 5 power move. 1, 2, 3, and I forgot to do this. When I spent those 3 powers, those should have gone over here. 4, 5. So that was something that I could do, and then it says take an extra action right away. I have these 2 cubes. I'd like to, if I can afford, but I can't, build another workshop, but I'm not allowed to do, I can't do that, period. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade him. And if I had 1 more cube, I would really like to build a school, but that's not possible now. So instead, I'm going to spend the 3 coins and the 2 tools. And so sometimes this is where it's tough, because when I upgrade him, it's going to give me a lot of power and money coming up. But I'm not going to get a lot of tools. So I have to have a strategy for how I'm going to get some more tools. Well, I can take this, for instance, this tile down here. And maybe I can spend a power action to generate my way into getting some more tools. But either way, he's going to pass. So when he passes, and I actually may have made a small mistake on that. He may have passed that last round instead of doing this. And I'd have to look and clarify. But let's pretend that I did it right, just for sake of argument. He's going to choose this one right here. I think I did that wrong. In fact, I'm almost 100% sure I did that wrong. So I'll back that up a little bit. I won't get that point. He won't do the terraforming. Or he won't get the point. I won't get the power. And that's because the last card, it's the second to last. He might pass. Now he passes for sure. And that's what we're going to do here. So it's going to take this one right here. It's going to discard the coin, and it's going to put this one in its place. All right, so this one is now available. So anyway, it passed, so it will just be my turn left. And I don't have a lot to do. I've got some books, I got some money, but I think I'm pretty much exhausted from a standpoint of what I'm going to do. So I'm going to pass also. Now when I pass, I can choose from any of these icons out here that are available. And because I said I really want to get my hands on some more cubes, I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to put this one right in its place. Doesn't come with any coins, but that'll be helpful next time because I'm going to get 2 cubes. Plus I can get a free bonus over there. So then we go into the third phase here where we basically reset all of these. And then we look and see. So the Automa gets 2 points. That's what he does. And then I will get a free shovel action, terraform action. As long as I've scored, I have 4 on the medicine track, and I do. So, based on the plans that I was talking about, I'm going to go ahead and put that right there, and it's going to allow me to build a workshop there on my next turn without really struggling too much. And then that is over, so this is going to flip over. Oh, actually, it's not going to flip over. It's just going to go away. I think you flip over the ones in the multiplayer. And you're on to the next round. You're going to play this all the way through the 6 rounds, and at the end of the game, you will get any bonus points associated with your largest cluster of buildings, and you'll get bonus points on these tracks, and there might be some other things that have unlocked that I don't know of off the top of my head at the very end of the game. based on other things. But you keep going, you go through an income round, then you do the actions, and then you go ahead and go through the pass and reset. And that's what you got. All right, let me tell you what I think. Okay, I just reviewed the rules and I realized that in effect does not pass until it slides that support card over and then it has no card to draw for it. Then it would pass and it would do the exact same thing. So I was supposed to take the action like I originally did. Regardless, you get a good idea, I think, of how this works. Now, one thing also I didn't demonstrate is that as you go through the actions, you will add another Automa card to that deck every time it passes. And so the deck will vary a little bit depending on what happens. And there are multiple cards to be added. So the Automa does have several difficulty levels that help you customize the deck and also help you to understand what to do with regards to how many points you're going to get for those X values, etc., making the game different and competitive. Plus, all those different factions you can choose will do many different things setup-wise and everything else. And that leads me to what I think about the game. So, first of all, I've already said, and I agree, I still, after 10 years, I love Terra Mystica. I still think it's one of my top games. And the only thing I like more about Gaia Project is I thought they enhanced a few things and they include solo. Number one, I appreciated in Gaia Project that as you went up the tracks to research, you unlocked things. I thought that was better than just going up the tracks and getting power and doing nothing special with it. And in this game, you sort of go up the tracks and get power and do nothing special with it again, but they brought in some of the feel of those innovation buildings that added that for the flavor that I got from the Gaia Project, and that was good. I think that this game takes the best parts of both of those games and melds them into one. And if you don't have either of those and you like complex Euros, this is a game I highly recommend you check out. It is fairly easy to go through the solo and the solo execution, and the prioritization of that. It gets easier with time. It gets easier with what you're doing. And I don't find it to be bulky at all. I mean, some of their actions are real quick. Also, it doesn't really take my brain away from what I'm really focusing on either. And maybe that's also because I'm very experienced in both of these games, or both of these predecessors, pardon me, having played them dozens and dozens of times. Not very well, by honestly, but it seems to me pretty easy to execute. So this game, what it really does is it adds a ton of variety and a ton of customization to the different buildings you can do, to the things you can add in as far as unlocks, to your innovation, the special things that come on. It took all those ideas and maximized them into a new game that still plays very close to the chest of Terra Mystica. If you didn't like Terra Mystica for whatever reason, if you felt that, and I don't know what the reason could be, whatever it was, but if you didn't like it, if it was just not for you, this game is not going to probably change your mind, right? But if you liked the excitement of building things, getting more abilities unlocked, putting things together, pulling off really cool turns, getting the execution of, if I do this, then I can unlock this, I get the power, etc. All that stuff, this game has it in spades, plus it has a lot more variety of how you can customize things based on the different combinations of factions, the different combinations of your preferred terrain type, all that stuff. And you pick those in a random draft kind of mode at the beginning of the game, which I think is cool. Obviously, you could just choose whatever you wanted if you really wanted to, but there's rules on how to actually put that together. And I love the fact that each game there's going to be different innovation tiles coming out, different tiles that go with your top building, the outpost guild, whatever it's called, I can't remember specifically, the big one on the left. And I think that, just in general, if you like those other games, as long as you want more of that, then this is the game for you, especially if you have Terra Mystica and are a solo player and never got the Terra Mystica solo add-on, or you have the Gaia Project and you're looking to get into Terra Mystica because for whatever reason you like the theme or whatever it is. If you have both of them, you have to figure out for yourself if this is going to be enough new stuff to be able to maximize it. But I would almost think if you have both of them, then you got to decide, Do I need all 3 in my collection? I really don't know. That's up to you to figure out. But I think this is a great offering, although it still plays really close to the Terra Mystica mechanics. So when they say, you know, a Terra Mystica game and it re-implements Terra Mystica, I would highly agree. I feel like they took that game and upped the notch of extra stuff, extra configurations and everything else. But at the heart, this is still Terra Mystica, in my opinion. So I really hope that is helpful to you. I hope that helps you make a good decision on whether you want to pick this one up or not. It all depends on your preferences, as it always does. But either way, I am very excited that I own it because I sold Terra Mystica, and this allows me to get it back and play with the solo mode. And I do have a little regret. I mean, I definitely had some regrets when the solo mode came out. I'm like, oh, geez, you know, because there's a couple things about the Gaia project that I don't like as much as I do about Terra Mystica. Specifically, I always found it kind of exhausting on the how hard it was to travel and to do things. Here, it's a little bit different. Here, it's the sailing's there, but it's easier to expand. You just have to shell out more in the tool cost. So I kind of like that a little bit better about this. So anyway, and I'm talking about Terra Mystica. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Whatever you decide to play in the future or do in the future, I really hope you have a fantastic time doing it. Take it easy, everybody.